Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today, we're getting into a really fascinating stack of source material.
We really are.
And it just goes to show you that some of the most profound insights can be hidden in, well, the most unexpected places.
Exactly.
We're unpacking excerpts from a narrative today. It's called Yulo and the Heart of the Snow Race.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you're thinking this is just some, cheerful little story about kids running around in the snow, I'd say think again.
Oh, definitely.
This material, it's set around something called the Great Snow Race here in Maple Hollow, and it is, it's a masterclass in redefining what success even means.
It's a blueprint, really. It gives you a whole new way to think about sportsmanship, about cooperation.
And achievement. And it applies way beyond just some snowy path.
It absolutely does. So I think our mission for this deep dive is to really analyze how this story uses the simple structure of a kid's competition to completely dismantle and then rebuild the idea of winning. We're looking at the mechanism here, how it forces everyone involved, and that includes you, the listener, to prioritize human connection over just, raw speed.
We're extracting the big takeaways.
The universal takeaways, all about setting different metrics for success.
Okay, let's unpack this.
Let's do it.
So the story kicks off right at the starting line. The scene is buzzing with anticipation.
You could feel the energy.
Yeah, you've got your core participants, Mia, Max, Harper, and their coach, Coach Pinecone.
Familiar faces? The standard setup.
Totally standard. The banner says, "Welcome to the Great Snow Race." And everything feels pretty traditional until Harper spots something.
And this is the turn.
Huge footprints in the snow. Way bigger than any boot.
And that's the signal, right? The narrative is telling us we are not in a normal story anymore. You hear this thump, thump, thump.
And then Yulo the Yeti arrives.
The genius here is how quickly the source material just subverts your expectations. Yulo is, yes, described as towering, covered in fluffy white fur. But he has these big, kind blue eyes, and maybe the best detail, a brightly colored knitted beanie pulled over one ear.
It's perfect. He steps out and just completely disarms everyone. He's not roaring or anything. He's just shouting with pure joy.
Hi, everyone. I'm Yulo the Yeti.
And I love racing.
That intentional contrast is everything. The classic Yeti from folklore is, fearsome, hidden, maybe a little aggressive.
And Yulo is the opposite. He's explicitly friendly, and he proves it right away.
He does. He's carrying a basket
Of snowberry muffins. His contribution to the race day snacks.
It's just brilliant. Coach Pinecone then confirms he's the special guest for the Yeti but friendly snow race.
That title alone tells you everything, doesn't it? The rules of engagement are different this year.
And the race structure itself, it forces this new ethos. It's broken into 3 very specific parts.
Which we have to look at.
We do, because the structure is it's pedagogical. It's designed to teach cooperation through its sequence.
Okay, so first up is the snow dash.
A pure test of individual speed.
Then the obstacle wiggle.
Which is all about agility, individual navigation. But the final part, the mandatory part, is the team push finish.
Which requires cooperation to even cross the line.
Right.
So,
Right.
Why start with a speed test? If the goal is collaboration, it seems like you're setting them up to fail at the old way of doing things first.
That's exactly the analysis. That's it. It starts with speed to sort of, satisfy that traditional competitive urge. It gives a kid like Max a chance to try and win the old-fashioned way.
But the narrative immediately makes that impossible.
It lets that individual effort fail right away, so the need for collaboration becomes concrete. It's not just a nice idea.
And that failure happens fast. The whistle blows, and Max, who's the speedster, he just zooms ahead in the snow dash.
And predictably.
He slips right on the powdery path, fails the first test.
And here's the pivot. This is where the whole race turns on its head.
Before Max can even really panic, Yulo, this huge figure, steps in.
So gentle.
He doesn't just run past him. He carefully scoops Max up, sets him back on his feet. And then comes the new rule, stated out loud.
No racers left behind.
And that's the new standard.
What's so amazing here is the use of power with restraint. Yulo could just dominate this race, but he chooses the metric of inclusion over pace.
It's not just a nice gesture.
No, it's a reprioritization of the entire rule set, right there in the moment. The source even says that as Yulo bounded along, he was careful not to splash snow in anyone's face.
So he's aware of his own power.
Immensely aware. He's showing that great power has to be used with great care. That sets the tone for everything that follows.
And that focus on care, on consideration, it sets up the next challenge perfectly.
The obstacle wiggle.
Right. Tunnels, ropes, little hurdles. And this is where it gets really interesting because Yulo's greatest asset, his size, suddenly becomes his biggest problem.
A massive structural liability.
He gets to the first tunnel, he crouches down, and he just can't fit. He scratches his head, laughs a little.
And he accepts it. This is a critical moment. Yulo, the most physically dominant competitor, is stopped by a common race constraint.
You could argue that's unfair, right? The race is biased against him.
You could, but the narrative uses it to teach something so much deeper about cooperation.
So does it undermine him at all? I mean, he was the star gift, and now he can't even do the obstacle course.
It flips the script. It shows that being great on a team isn't about being good at everything. Yulo's real contribution right then shifts from the physical to the emotional.
He cages his role.
He switches roles gracefully. He realizes he's structurally limited, so he says, "Guess I'll cheer."
And he becomes a supporter.
He becomes a pure supporter. His shout of "Go team, go!" was so loud the source's snowflakes jumped. He's modeling a key lesson. When you hit a wall, your job isn't over. You pivot from being the actor to being the advocate.
From participant to cheerleader.
Exactly. And that kind of flexibility, that's often the hardest part of true teamwork in the real world, you know?
I love that. It connects so well to, like, a business environment. The star player hits a roadblock. Do they pout, or do they become the world's best mentor for the people who can get through?
Precisely. He moves from being a physical participant to being the emotional anchor. He injects energy right when they need it most. And that energy carries them right into the final, toughest part.
The third segment. The final stretch. The source describes it as icy and steep.
So now the teams are really struggling.
Yeah, individual speed, raw willpower. None of it is enough to get up this hill.
Yeah.
The kids are tired.
And if we connect this to the bigger picture, this is the proof. This environmental challenge proves the old competitive model is insufficient. The team push-finish was a rule on paper.
But now the icy slope makes it the only way to finish.
It's not a suggestion anymore, it's a survival mechanism.
And Yulo, who is the cheerleader, now steps back in as the physical catalyst. He sees what's needed.
That's a shared effort.
He kneels down and makes this incredible offer. Hop on, we finish together.
And they do. The kids climb onto his back. It's this physical embodiment of inclusion.
A single, unified movement.
But look at the detail here. Yulo doesn't suddenly start running now that he has an advantage.
No, he carefully walked. He walked to the finish line.
The metric for success is completely redefined. The speed clock is irrelevant.
The only thing that matters is that they're all together.
Precisely. And the outcome is universal. Step by step, everyone crossed the line together, not one after another, a single shared arrival.
And the crowd gets it. They cheer like crazy, and Kurt Pinecone raises a banner that makes it official.
Winners, teamwork.
That's the result, regardless of who was fastest in that first dash.
It doesn't matter anymore.
Which brings us to the synthesis, right? The explicit lesson. Yulo himself reflects on it, and his words are basically the thesis statement.
Best race ever.
Nobody lost, everybody helped, and I made new friends.
That phrase, "nobody lost," that's the core innovation. It just totally redefines success. And if you look at the material that came with the story, it states it explicitly.
What does it say?
It says the goal of sports and games is teamwork, kindness, and helping one another, not just winning. It's a total inversion.
It's not a zero-sum game anymore.
Not at all. And the principle of inclusion is hammered home by Yulo's entire journey. The biggest, most different participant, the one who couldn't even fit through the tunnel.
He was the one they needed to succeed.
He was essential for universal success. But look, if teamwork and inclusion are so clearly better metrics, why do we, in our own lives still rely so much on individual speed?
That is the challenge, isn't it?
Yeah.
We reward the maxes who dash ahead, even if they slip, because speed is just, it's easy to measure. We rarely build a mandatory team push finish into our work projects.
And that's why the story is so powerful. It makes the environment itself, that icy hill force, the new rule. It suggests that if you want this kind of victory, you have to intentionally design your challenges to make collaboration a necessity.
The final insight says it all.
When everyone helps each other, everyone wins. That's the goal of the race.
What really stands out to me is how it leaves a lasting impression on the kids. It changes their whole view of what a competition even is. Mia's final thought is the perfect ending.
Winter races should always be like that.
It's not just a win. It's a whole new paradigm.
And that new paradigm leaves a literal footprint. The symbol is just perfect. As Yulo walks away, he leaves behind these giant, heart-shaped footprints in the snow.
The impact of the race isn't a trophy or a record.
No, it's a symbol of kindness and connection left on the environment itself.
So what does this all mean for you? I mean, whether you're managing a project or navigating a tough meeting or just defining success in your own life, this deep dive shows how a simple story can completely redefine it.
It does.
It shifts the metric away from individual achievement, like speed, to a collective one. Teamwork, kindness, making sure everyone gets there.
It's a really powerful framework. The source gives us a clear model for evaluating success based not on who crossed the line first, but on the connection you forge along the way.
The true victory isn't about saving time.
It's about maximizing the shared experience and strengthening the relationships you build during the struggle.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for joining us on this deep dive into cooperation and winter sportsmanship.
And here's a final thought for you to consider. In your own professional life, where are you facing an icy, steep finish line that you know your individual speed can't conquer? And how would your definition of success change if you decided the purpose of that journey wasn't to get there first, but to make sure the effort itself strengthens all your relationships and leaves behind a positive, heart-shaped impact no matter how tough the terrain is? Something to think about.